Lost control of the midfield. We weren't baking when the Danish got subbed off field. Eriksen subbed, but the team still needed a handheld. Experimented, too many changes, and that plan failed. Lost control of the midfield. We weren't baking when the Danish got subbed off field. Eriksen subbed, but the team still needed a handheld. Experimented, too many changes, and that plan failed. Yo, this is the OT night and I'm bantering where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, we're back again with another show. It's your boy Firms and I'm joined today by Edwin and NK. Look, today was an L. Today we got the L. Today, Erik ten Hag decided to switch up the team. He had to switch up the team, but in doing so, it proved costly. 1-0 down from a handball, arguably. But you know what? We couldn't get into that game. We couldn't get control of that midfield. We couldn't just get a handle of it. And our forwards didn't really get that much joy up top either. Do you know what I mean? So we'll get into all of it anyway. There ain't really much to talk about, really. But we'll try and chop it up and summarize it as quickly as we can. But before we begin, obviously the news of the Queen came out, passing away literally this afternoon today. And it's not good. It's not a good sign, man. I mean, look, she's been serving not the longest serving Queen, is it? Queen Elizabeth II for what, 70 odd years now? It's crazy. It's crazy what she's did. And do you know what I mean? She's gone. She's left us. And you know what, man? That's why I'm wearing black today, man. Morning. But let's move on anyway. Look, Edwin, how you feeling, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm okay. You know, not the best result.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not surprised. There's too much inconsistencies. Like, yeah, there's too much inconsistencies, and yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, I'm okay, man.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
NK, I know you live in the States, but yeah, you're not looking happy.
Oh, no, you know, it is what it is. A win could have been good for us, but it's Man United, you know, it's a rebuild. Like, we're gonna have that there, up and down kind of like thing. But it's one of those games where I think the manager will learn a lot from it today, and then he would take a lot out of it. And he always kind of said it anyway, though there will be kind of like setback, but it's just like the Europa League kind of alternative be like another route towards the Champions League. So it would have been good to kind of like start off with a win, but it's all about what you do the game after that. You know, so that's what we're gonna have to like look forward to now.
I would say though, like obviously it's the first group game against Real Sociedad, and arguably one of the tougher games in that group for us. I know that we've got many more games to play in that group. We can still qualify even though we dropped 3 points, and I feel like, you know, you can probably afford to use a game to experiment on. You know, give rest your first team players and give other guys a run out and experiment with different partnerships. But do you know what is crazy is because obviously none of us knew, and a lot of, you know, lots of sports the weekend fixtures has been cancelled. I wonder if that would have affected our lineup if Erik ten Hag knew about this, or a lot of people knew about this, not to like brush over the fact that the Queen's passed, but in terms of like just the impact of what he was thinking, because before that happened, he's thinking about what's happening with the weekend fixtures. Ten Hag, he's chose his team now because he's thinking he needs to probably rotate rest guys. If he knew that there isn't going to be any games in the weekend, would that have affected his decision making? But do you know what I mean? I feel like, you know, a lot of things are being cancelled because the Queen's passed away. You know what I mean? It's going to be a big issue. Even boxing, everything's been cancelled. I'm hearing, what's that female boxer? And the female boxer that's supposed to be fighting, you know, the one that's got lit.
Oh, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah.
Yeah.
Is that not going? Oh, okay.
Apparently, because that's supposed to be this weekend, isn't it? It's supposed to be on Saturday. Apparently, that's at risk of being postponed as well. So, you know, we'll hear a bit more about that. But yeah, back to the game, man. Back to the game. So, let's get into it, man. So, look, I'm gonna start off with Casemiro, man. Casemiro is someone that we spent 60-70 million on, and he started today with Fred, the Brazilian midfield, and with Eriksen as well. And there's been a lot of people talking and saying that, you know, he's not looking up to scratch. Casemiro, are you thinking that it's, you know, ring rust? Is it him needing to adapt in playing at Man United in a different setting, or what do you think is the issue with Casemiro right now? Do you feel like it's a flop or waste of money, or do you think he's gonna come good like later on down the line? Because he did look a bit slow. He did look like he's getting beaten here and there. He looked like a step off the pace right about now, and it's a bit worrying considering the outlay of how much we spent on this guy. What's your thoughts on it?
I think, you know what, Casemiro is going to be a bit similar to Varane last season when he came, you know, and people kind of like question whether he's good enough and everything. It's all about putting players in like the right system or next to like the right people, you know. With Raul, he had a Modric and Cross next to him, where he doesn't have to do too much instead of like getting involved in a play like that. You know, his job, he had like just one job, which was to break up the play and then give it to the other guys. With United, that role is slightly going to be different, where he's not just going to be doing just like, oh, you know what, just like clamp people and just give the ball away. He's going to be have to like get involved more in the build-up play too. He's going to be trusted to kind of like start the build-up, and these are kind of like just new stuff that he's going to have to like learn with this team. So I expected him to kind of like struggle with this game. You know, I think he's going to struggle in the next kind of like few months, whilst the manager tried to kind of like find a way to kind of like find a proper role for him in this team, you know, because as I said to you, we only got kind of like Eriksen don't really have like the legs to kind of like move around the pitch that much. So whoever he played next to have to do a lot of like running,
but he's been doing it. He's been doing it. Eriksen,
yeah, but it's a way in which he does it, but it's not like covering the whole kind of like ground, you know. It would be better to get someone who is, I don't know, but I think Casemiro, it would take him time to kind of like get used to the whole kind of like team. But until then, we're going to see this kind of a thing where some games he's going to play good, some games he's not going to play good, and then people are going to kind of like question like his signing. So I don't know. Me personally, I feel like maybe we probably might see like the best of him. Maybe after the January transfer window, when we get certain players to kind of like complement to. But today's game, I feel like he done okay. It was a game where we should have controlled it. We couldn't control it. Villarreal, I mean, Real Sociedad had much of the possession too. And when the team have much of the possession, you just know that you're going to spend 90 minutes like defending him. You cannot tell him like, oh, to clamp the whole 90 minutes. When he does that, he's bound to make mistakes, and that's what happened today. That's what we saw today.
Edwin, what's your thoughts on Casemiro? Do you think like, because he's a guy that is a ball winning, he's the defensive midfielder, ball winning. He's got a pass on him, and we see him try to slip in a few balls here and there. But ultimately, he's a ball winning defensive midfielder. He's not a guy that is going to progress with the ball. And, you know, obviously we saw when Eriksen came off the pitch that we had no one that could, you know, with that extra bit of creative quality that can actually support and get the ball to our forwards. What's your thoughts on Casemiro? Do you think like he's got a future? Did we waste money, man?
I don't think we wasted money. I think, like Gabe was saying, he's definitely a good signing. But it's just, you know what? It's the adapting he has to do. Do you know what I mean? He's played at a high level for so long. And played with different types of players. You got to think he was at Real Madrid for nearly 10 years. So he's played with Modric and Kroos, and they've played in a way where even though he sits, we've seen him progress, but he's progressed in a system that suits him. So he's usually sitting and ball winning. But in Real Madrid, if you watch them, he'll pick up the ball, he will do run, but he's got the safety net of knowing Modric very well and Kroos, and it was packed. If you watch Real Madrid, their midfield was packed. With Man United, there's too many gaps. So he's exposed. So you could see him like looking like he was struggling, but he was just too exposed. And I think at Real Madrid, he had the safety net of, I'm sitting, I've got Modric and Kroos. And you got to remember, Modric and Kroos are very disciplined players. So they will stay in their positions, you know what I mean? And
it's interesting because in the games where Casemiro was brought on to play alongside Scott McTominay, for example, like to shut up shop in the games, their actual distance, Scott McTominay and Casemiro, Scott McTominay never left them alone. Like the distance between them, if you watch the games, just little highlights of them two, Casemiro just put in Casemiro highlights, Manchester United, right? You would see that Scott McTominay is like no more than 5 yards apart. This game now.
But this is the thing, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just compact, and we got to look at just the relationship between Varane and Martinez, right? One is more the rough one, and one's more the finesse. And if we're looking at the midfield, Casemiro will take the approach of Martinez, but then we need to find someone that complements him, like Martinez is complemented with Varane. And until, like NK was saying, that until you find someone that complements him, he's gonna look like he's gonna struggle.
So have we not got that in the team then? Is Eriksen or Bruno not that person?
No, friends, it's just this. If someone keep punching you in the face, no matter how you are, eventually you're gonna bleed. So the more he kind of like get it, like if United as a team don't have possession of the ball, and we always let opponents have the ball, your defenders are going to have more work to do. They're going to get exposed, and eventually they're going to make mistakes, and that's what you're going to see. United need to start being able to hold on to the ball and keep the ball for a certain amount of time to kind of like
we never do that, man.
Yeah, we never do that, and when you never do that, and the team always have the ball, eventually, not just your defensive midfielder too, your centre backs will make mistakes. This is why it's very crucial that we start controlling games rather than always scoring the first goal and playing on the counter, because it just will not work like that. You know, it's not always going to work like that for us.
So look, we've got another midfielder, Donny van der Beek, who's known for like a guy that obviously the Ajax system's a good passer of the ball. I guess he can retain the ball pretty well. Why is he not getting any games? Like, what's going on with Donny van der Beek?
Well, I think he would have played today, but he's injured.
Is he injured
today? He's injured today. I think so anyway. I don't know whether he's injured. Some people are saying like he went on a honeymoon, but I think he's injured.
Because I didn't see him on the bench, and I didn't see him.
I think he's injured. I think he's injured. That's what it is. I think he's injured. That's what it is. But he would have definitely start today.
I think on to NK's point as well, it's true, because if you look at Real Madrid, I know a lot of people saying this is not the Real Madrid to the past, but Real Madrid, when you watch them play, they're very good at retaining the ball and playing short passes, right? And I think where Casemiro done really well is that when they retained, say if they were like passing the ball and they lost the ball, he was good at stopping counter-attacks. But what Man United are struggling with is that they're letting teams play football around them. And he's just like all over the place. So like Enge said, I think if we retain the ball better, we'll probably get the best out of him. But right now we don't have, like NK said during the game when we were speaking, as soon as you take Eriksen out, there's like, we drop so much. A good 20 plus % in that midfield. There's like no certainty. And look, it was tough because, let's be honest, Fingy didn't have a good game. Fred didn't have a good game. Like, He does a lot of running, but with no end result to it. You know what I mean? So
I think what this tournament is showing us, and which we knew already, is that when what do you call it? Ralph Ragnick was just like, we need quite a lot of players. I think we can clearly see why we need quite a lot of players, because we made really good investment buys into the first team. The first team swallowed the investment really just went into the first team straight, and even that first team is not fully like, you're still thinking about certain areas that you could do with getting a signing like a striker, for example. You're still thinking that you can get a odd what else is there, maybe like another midfield or whatever. Like, talk less of the bench. And I feel like what this is showing us is that when you make those tweaks, look, we took off Varane, we took off Martinez.
Varane didn't play.
Sorry, I mean these men didn't start. So there was no Varane. No, Martinez came on second half. You made some tweaks with Scott McTominay. He's in good form at the minute, but you made some tweaks there. No Rashford, and then all of a sudden Sancho again came off the bench. All of a sudden you're looking like not the same no more, and this is the issue, because Manchester United are looking like a team where, look, it's the first team, and if it's not that first team, we're gonna struggle. And that's a worry, because we're a team now that's going to be playing every 3 days at the minute. We're going to be like, it's going to be challenging to maintain them and keep them fit. And when we do tweak it, can we get that balance right? And I feel like it's mad, because we tweaked, probably it should be all right against Real Sociedad. but we tweaked too many players where we didn't even have enough to get a result, and that's scary. And that midfield, like you man was saying, is key. I feel like that and the right back should be the first places that we're even looking at. Boy, come
but,
next summer.
You know what? We talk about we changed the team. That's what we love. The game where we played today, it wasn't different to the Leicester game or the Southampton game. The only difference is that we scored the first goal. But if you watch in terms of like performance, it's been the same type of performance. Look, apart from the penalty, Villarreal wasn't really creating that much chances. But the question that you have to ask yourself is like, where was United chances? You know, where was the dominant? Were we able to find our attacking players? Like today, Anthony hardly got into the game because the way in which Anthony plays, like he had the touchline, so he needs to be fed. If you don't feed him like that, it's hard for him to struggle to get into the game because the instruction that the manager gave it to him is not to like drop in and collect the ball. He have to stay there. They have to find him. So if your midfielders are not finding him, he then becomes useless. Elanga on the ball too. I always talk about the first goal that we scored against Arsenal. That was a very beautiful goal. If you go and watch the game back, it was 18 passes. And in that pass, there was a moment Sancho first had the ball. He saw that the cross wasn't on or he couldn't, he didn't want to beat the man. He passed it back, went to Anthony. Anthony saw that he couldn't beat the man too, came back and then passed it. Like, it's called recycling. Today, what you saw Elanga do is anytime he had the ball, he was just eager to try and beat the man rather than trying to like recycle the balls. And this is what like some of the players that play, they need to learn that. It's not every time that you have to rush play, you know, all the time. Sometimes just recycle it, try and keep hold of the ball possession, move the other teams around, you know, shift them to the left, shift them to the right. Eventually, the chance will kind of like open like it did against Arsenal. You know, it was an 18-move pass where they went all the way back to the goalkeeper and eventually they ended up scoring. So I think that's what.
But this is what I mean, though. This is what I mean when you talk about that 18 pass sort of before it led to the goal. In our midfield, we didn't have the players to facilitate that. We didn't have the Martinez and Varane from the start of the game pushing up high. We're pressing from high up. We're applying that pressure from high up. We didn't have those guys with the drawing players out, creating spaces like the Sanchos wasn't there, the Rashfords wasn't there, and I feel like we should be able to do that with this team against Real Sociedad. But it just goes to show the drop off in quality, man. The drop off in quality and match fitness and match sharpness. I don't think it's just. Look, there was no way we could have played possession football with this team. No way. So you could say the only drop off that, or the only thing that you could say is that if Ronaldo take that chance that he got one-on-one in the first half and he scored, it will be probably similar to when Sancho just took the chance against Southampton. That one was running and he just looked like he was running in his
seat.
So that one
to me, it wasn't a big drop off.
His brain and his body was doing two different things, bro. Ronaldo.
Right. it just we couldn't take the moment compared to how like your Southamptons and your Liverpool took moments.
Is Ronaldo done out here, Edwin?
No. You got to give him a chance because this is the first game he started, right? He looked a bit off pace, but he was still getting in the positions. I thought a sharper Ronaldo would have been more. And we got to give him we got to start. Like, I feel like if we see him and Casemiro still struggling around December, it's going to be a long season for them. But I think give him a couple of games, and I think because you got to remember they never had a preseason with this team, and there's a whole new way of playing football, even for Ronaldo. So I don't. I'm not going to go as far as saying he's done out here because we ain't on the Chelsea vibe. You know,
look, 16, I'm gonna be bro. We're not done out here, but man, he's done out here.
You can't say that, man.
No, I'll tell you why. And as I said to you,
you think he's done out here?
No, but let me tell you why.
Come on.
Right now, no. Let me say this first. Let me say the reason why I say that. It's not like that, but he is done in terms of like United because his legs are gone. So he cannot play this counter-attacking football that way we drop deep and then we hit teams on the counter. He cannot do that.
Yeah, when it comes to counter, it's a myth, bro.
Yeah, the only way he can do it is if the team keep possession and work the ball into the box, because in the box, he is still going to be the guy. But if we cannot work the ball into the box, then he's done out here. We
didn't have the guys in the midfield, or we didn't have that. Even out wide, we didn't have the guys to work the ball into the midfield. Into the box.
look at the difference between when Martial has played and when Rashford has played. But man, they play on the last shoulder of the defender. We put the ball in through, whether it's high or over them, they run to it. Ronaldo had a similar chance today that Rashford did against
He's running
Arsenal.
in his sleep, bro.
He couldn't. So in terms of that, he is done out here because in the moment, the way our midfield is set up, that is how we're going to play, which is put the ball in behind the center back for the strikers to run. He cannot do that. He simply cannot do that. So,
but do you know why I think? Do you know why I think he could be okay? Because even if you look at Ten Hag's team at Ajax, he didn't have a far striker.
But they had guys to work the ball into the.
That's the
box.
thing. The thing what could save Cristiano Ronaldo, and this is where the midfield obviously needs to be. You need to keep the possession and control that game.
And if they get
then
the
you
crosses,
need to find those wings. So you've got Delo, you've got Anthony now who likes to cut in and put in a cross. That's Ronaldo's saving grace. But you know what's annoying me as well, Malacia, man. What's going on with his attacking threat? I see him getting
defensively. He's good, but like we have not seen him like bomb up there, cross the ball.
Bro, no whipped in crosses outside of that one. Malacia.
Right today, the Lord did that nice cross to Ronaldo, which I think it was offside in the end. Yeah, but that was a kind of like a good cross. But again, this is what I say tactically. Malacia more or less sometimes he plays that intervent kind of like a
inverted fullback.
Yeah, inverted fullback. So he normally have to stay right in the middle to kind of like just in case there's a kind of attack. So you will not see him play the kind of like Roda Delo kind of play. They kind of like interchange. When one attacking, the other one is on the touchline. It's similar to all our wingers too. So you're not going to be seeing him most of the time over there trying to cross, but he can cross. As far as the tactics allow him to go on the touchline and get to those kind of position to cross here, he'll put up the cross. But I don't think the manager is allowing him because we commit so many players forward. Just in case we lose the ball, someone needs to be there to help with the counter-attack situation.
Look, I want to talk about two more players here. One, Elanga, and then Anthony. I'll start with Elanga. Look, Elanga, yeah, I thought in the first half he had a decent game, you know, considering like what we had on the pitch, right, in terms of like attacking prowess. He was one of our bright spots, I must say, like, because to be fair, like, I didn't see much from it. I didn't see much from the forwards. I saw Anthony, like, he had the right back's number, like he was beating them, you know, getting back in behind them, but his end product in terms of finding, I remember when he rounded the defender, got in, he went to the byline, he whipped it back, bro. Poor pass, bro. I'm just like, oh, do you know what I mean? Or he gets into the box, he takes I don't even know. He's supposed to find his man. He tried to pass it. He misplayed. I don't even know. For me, his end product is a bit wild. And I think that's where we're struggling with Elanga. He's got a bit of pace and physicality a little bit there, but his mental, I don't know. His decision making is not there. His football IQ is not there.
I think like he does. Okay, so my problem before, I think I said it, was that I don't really see him beating players. So we saw him beat a couple of players that get into the byline or get in position, but his passing range and he's thinking. He makes wrong decisions and he doesn't. I feel like if he had a bit of end product, he would be so much better, but he struggles. Like he'll get in the position like when he rounded and he'll play the wrong pass. So I think that's that. Look, he's still young.
He's 20 years old, you know. I forget that sometimes. He's young.
But at the same time, the Premiership is not a place where you've got time to learn. You really have to like hit the ground running, especially if you want to do well. You know what I mean? So he's still got time a little bit, but he needs to do more. That's what I would say, and I think that's what he lacked a bit today.
NK, what do you do with Elanga, man? Do you still keep giving him opportunities, or do you bench him for someone like Garnacho in future Europa League games? Like, what do you do with Elanga, man?
You know what? I think as time goes on, he will eventually play himself out of the team. You know, he said he want to play on the left hand side. Part of playing on the left hand side, you should be able to kind of like cut him and shoot, you know, or make certain decisions too, you know. I won't even go and question like his ability wise, because he can do certain stuff in the game, but I think there's like the intelligent part, you know. I always say wingers need to know when to do what in certain moments, you know. And it's something that you either have or you don't have. You know, it's hard to kind of like teach those kind of like stuff to kind of like players, you know. So today, when you get to certain positions, yeah, if you know you cannot beat them, just know when to use your fullback, you know, when to recycle the balls. And he's lacking in that. And I don't know whether it's something that can be that he can learn that of the game, or he cannot do that too. But the only problem he got is that competition on that left-hand side at United is too much, you know. You got Sancho want to play there, Rashford want to play there, you got Garnacho that's trying to also play there too, you know.
Even Martial can play there.
Even Martial can play there too. So because of the competition that he faced on that left-hand side, I just feel like he just I don't see the film where in the long term, yeah, he's actually at this club, man. Sadly for him, I just don't see it because of the competition, but man, no way he can beat up the kind of like competition that is there.
Do you know what, man? I feel like we need a bit more squad depth. Do you know? I mean, we know we need a lot more squad depth. And when you saw that Manchester United was linked with Gakpo and we'll try at the same time as Anthony, and there was the discussions of us or the thoughts of us potentially getting both of them, I was like, you know what? That sounds like a really good idea. I do feel like we need to up the levels, man. We can't be thinking about. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like we always need to have an option where they're just quality. Do you know what I mean? And right now, if it was me, I'd be thinking about how we can throw in a bid. Look, Gakpo almost moved for 25 million. Do you understand? 25 million he almost went for. And I feel like we should be in the running if that price is still like that come January, man. But look, Anthony, man, he obviously made that bad boy debut against Arsenal. That I'm still living off that win, to be fair. I'm still on the high off that win. Where he took it, cut inside, left foot, boom. Today, I saw an Anthony that I didn't really want to see. I saw an Anthony that was a bit wasteful. I saw an Anthony that was a bit young in his game, a bit immature, a bit rough around the edges, a bit Ronaldo-esque-ish, like in terms of like all the fancy showboating skills, but not really doing anything. Do you know what I mean? And all of that sort of stuff is a bit of the things that worried me, especially where we're at in our stage of like where Man United in terms of our rebuild that we needed. I was looking at your Diaz's and your Manes and appreciating their directness, appreciating how they're able to just take up 3-4 man direct and do a thing. And then I look at Anthony, and I didn't like when I saw him doing these skills and then passing it back. I wanted him to always be direct, take on guys. He's got the ability to beat a man. He's got the dribbling ability. He's got the unpredictability to do that. And I didn't feel like when he was on a ball, I didn't feel like I saw enough of that from him, even though he didn't get much of it because obviously he wasn't being fed. But what's your thoughts on Anthony, man?
You know what I think, right? I think the debut was a dream debut. He came, you know, there's a price tag, and you score, right? But I think what today happened for him was needed, a reality check. That this is no game. Like, you may have done well, you scored in your first game, but this is a different type of pressure now. And so he looks like he's someone that really wants to work. Because even if we saw him in the beginning, one thing I will say to him, he tries. He's not like, you see him running back, you know, like in the beginning, you see him like tackling him, and like, I think there was an early one where him and Casemiro doubled up on a guy. I think it was a foul, but he was giving up a throw on it. But I
see him slapping hands as well, getting excited.
So I think he's going to try. But like, I think NK made a good point. Until the team works for him, it might not work for him, if that makes sense. Like, they really have to find him.
Do you know what's scary? Edwin, we just talked about 170 million roughly that we spent. We're talking about needing the team to be suited for these guys.
But the thing is, it can work. But like Engie said it, like, you've got to play the right team. So if you're going to play a Casemiro there, you have to play someone like, you have to play Eriksen there. Then you have to play Bruno there, because although Bruno makes mistakes, and I've been a critic of him, he showed in that Arsenal game that you need his energy around, you know what I mean? And he would actually, he looks like the player that will be focused on passing that side, you know what I mean? So we actually need the ball to get out to him, and when he's out there, another thing, there was points where it was too isolated. There wasn't enough runners for him, so he was looking around, cutting back, cutting into. I think you know what? It's a second game. It's hard to judge because not everyone's like. Even look at Salah. Everyone's saying Salah's not. He hasn't hit the ground. Son hasn't hit the ground for Tottenham, so it's not gonna be an easy, season for a lot of people, especially back-to-back games. But it's early days. At least he's got the goal out of the way. Now he just needs to focus on playing well, but at the same time, he just needs to focus. The team needs to focus on making him central now to the way they transition and play. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Makes sense. NK, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I even said it Sunday, like he didn't really play well on Sunday, anyways. He just took his goal, but his overall performance on Sunday too wasn't really good, anyways. And then after the game, he talked about he's still not fit, and even the manager said it that he didn't play good and he can do better too. Today game is a perfect thing when I say like when Edwin talking about we need a team. He's not necessarily talking about the team need to. It's just about as wingers. Yeah, sometimes off the ball running is very key for them. They cannot do it no more because Premiership or even in any team they double up on wingers, especially when they know that they are very kind of like skillful. So you always want to get them one-on-one. So what normally was happening, I think against Arsenal, for example, sometimes they switch the ball to him quickly for him to get a one-on-one. Today, anytime he had a ball, I see like a 2-on-1. And you don't want a situation where they run it in traffic, like how Rashford and like kind of like that. So anytime he's an intelligent player, anytime he see that there's like that, he's going to come back. Obviously, it's not something that United fans we are used to. We want direct wingers who can beat guys and just do that. But that is not naturally like his game. You're going to see that at times he's going to beat a player, at times he's going to recycle the ball, and at times he's going to cross it too. So it is going to be one of those ones where we need to kind of like get used to like his game back. Today wasn't a great game from him. As I said to you, we didn't have much of the ball, and when he had the ball too, he felt like he had to kind of like do something with it. So it's just going to be another kind of like poor performance from him, but it is like day by day. The whole team didn't play well, so I expect as time goes on, when the team kind of like get to know the manager's system and get to like know that look, move the ball fast to him so that he can enjoy that one-on-one before kind of like defenders like drop back and like double up on him, like move the ball faster to him. Today, our two centre backs wasn't moving the ball faster like how previously we have done. So it was everything was kind of like slow to him. So by the time he get a ball, they already double up on him, so he cannot enjoy that one-on-one kind of like thing with them. So yeah, it was a poor performance at the end of the day. It's like a poor performance.
I think obviously like the team, just to wrap this up, so look, the team performed poorly, and it's a reflection on some of these players as well. Like if your team, I'm sure if we were playing well, these guys would have had a better game like Anthony, those flair guys, because they would have been getting a lot more possession, a lot more feeding. But I just feel like it's early days, to get me. So I'm in a position right now where I'm just like, after reviewing all of it, having this discussion, it's like, don't panic mode. Like, we're still experimenting. It's still early days, 1-2 games in for some of these players, like starts. And you know what I mean? There's a long season to go and a lot of time to embed into the club, get familiar with their teammates and do what they need to do. So for me, man, we're on to the next one. I think the Premier League is where it all matters. Look, guys are not hitting the ground running, and Man United's in a good position right now. You get me? Where we can be challenging.
And can I say something too, Bob? We played. How many games have we played so far in the season?
What, in the Premier League?
Premier League. We played. How many games have we played in the Premier League?
I'm gonna check
six,
now.
Right? Six.
It feels like 5 or 6. Yeah.
No, we played 6 games. Today was our 7th game of the season.
Yeah.
And guess what? Out of those 7 games, this is a fact, by the way.
Yeah.
Fred, the 3 games Fred have started, we have lost those games. The 4 games that he has not started, we have won those games.
Bruv, you know what the maddest is? When you add you add Maguire into that mix, you add Shaw into that mix, yeah? You add all of these guys into that mix, that's what makes it even more.
No. Look, we can add Maguire to it too, but
that's what the issue is, bro.
That Fred have started,
you see that
we have lost.
Bruv, you see me bought him on against Arsenal.
Did Maguire start against Brighton? Did he start against what was the other team?
Brentford.
Bro, he
Brentford.
started against all the games he lost, but he started in all the games he lost, bro. That's my thing. That Maguire, don't get it twisted, bro. It's not Fred, but your data is not data.
I will leave you lost to concentrate on Maguire. Baby, my eyes are on Fred, bro. That's what it is. Pastor Fred.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Fred was doing a lot of mad stuff today. Like in terms of the passing, he's like.
Edwin, don't worry. He's a key player. He's a player.
Let's wrap up this video. Look,
Hey,
99.
before you go, do you know what Fred is like? You know when you get them toys and you wind them up and you put them down and they just run around. That's what it is. Mad energy, like it just runs around.
Yo, this is the OT99 banter room where opinions are shared and smoke gets served. Look, remember to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, share, all that malarkey. It's the OT99 banter room. Remember to look us up on Insta, Twitter, TikTok, social media, man. We're there, man. There. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.